to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another full edition of the Narrative Podcast. And I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the original people home for peace, reciprocity, and positivity. Welcome all my narrators. This is an auspicious occasion because this is my very last broadcast of the Narrative Podcast for 2023. And in commemoration of that, I've switched up my format a bit. So for those that tune in regularly to the Narrative Podcast, they know I have a certain format. I got a special year-end format that I'm going to do today to kind of commemorate the new year, since I don't plan on broadcasting next week. Reason being, I don't celebrate or condone the holidays. I don't believe in all this consumerism and paganism and all that. I already told my spiel about why I'm not in support of, the holidays, but a lot of you all are. And so, I made the executive decision, like, there's no point in putting out content when everybody's going to be, busy with the holiday season and doing whatever they do. They're not going to be listening to my podcast over the holiday season. So it doesn't even make sense to broadcast. So for that, I'm just going to kind of fall back next week and, probably like the first and second week of the new year. And while I'm doing that, I'll probably be, posting from my poetry blog. But I will definitely be back in 24 with some new content and thanks for all the support this year. But I got a special format today, and without any further ado, I'm going to dive right on into the content. But before I do, all my narrators, they already know the demonstration. They already know what my podcast is about, why I'm doing this, and, what to look forward to in this broadcast. But there are new people out there unfamiliar with me and my platform. So for those new people, I'll bring them up to speed before diving into the content today. So let's start at the top. Tippy, the name, the Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original culture, aka black people and black culture. I'll get more to the original part a little bit later on in the synopsis. What I want to do is design a platform where I'm celebrating our accomplishments and and all of our successes, as a people, and just putting out the positive frame of reference that we are excellent, we are magnificent. We're just the opposite of all the negative propaganda that the media puts out about our people and our culture. So, I want to design a platform where we flourish instead of getting tossed by the wayside. Now, when I designed this platform, I wasn't, trying to seek validation from people outside of our culture, care about what people outside of our culture think about us in any way, shape, or form. I wasn't even, designing this platform with intentions on enlightening people outside of our culture, about our people and our culture. This platform basically is designed to, tell the story of our people and our culture from the perspective of, who we are. And we are gods and goddesses, kings and queens. So, we're going to tell it from that perspective. We're not going to tell it from the degenerate perspective. that the media seems to focus the lens through when it comes to our people and our culture. My primary mission statement for this platform, I want people that listen to this podcast to fully understand why it's important to responsibly use your media platforms, especially when discussing our people and our culture. And, you know, I want to impress upon people and inspire people to share positive content about, you know, our people and our culture. That's my big takeaway I want people to get from my content, if nothing else, is, you know, why it's important to share why it's important to share positive frames of reference when it comes to our people and our culture, because, you know, the media only puts out negative frames of reference about our people and our culture. As a matter of fact, that's a perfect segue into my tagline for my podcast, the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy these negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Hence the title, the Narrative Podcast. Also, so like I said, you know, I'm trying to inspire people to share positive content about our people and our culture on their platforms. Because we're living in the digital information age, and we have, you know, information at the touch of a button at our fingers. That's kind of a gift and a curse. It's the gift because we can network and share information, but it's a curse because, with this social media, this digital, you know, information, if you utilize it wrong, it can be hurtful or it can be harmful. So one of the helpful ways is that we can network, we can meet people, you know, be in a different state or a different country, and network and connect with people who we never would, you know, see in a million years. And then on the negative side of it, you know, living in the digital information age is, you know, it's a whole lot of judgment, unfortunately. And people judge you based on the content that you post online. People equate you as an individual with, you know, whatever you're posting online. They associate your beliefs, your value systems, your upbringing, your educational level, anything you can, you know, factor in on a person is derived from, you know, your status updates and what you're posting online, your hobbies, your interests, and everything about an individual person. And not only do just regular people make this, you know, quick, snappy judgments about people, but Fortune 500 companies, you know, do this. They collect they do their statistical research. You know, they follow people and see, you know, study trends, what's trending. And what they'll do is they'll go create products to complement, you know, the inherent interest of users online and different, you know, social gatherings online. And they'll go create product to accommodate that interest. And I'm going somewhere with this. So that's what I mean by, you know, why I call my target audience my narrators. So you see, like, you know, being that we're in this digital information age, these Fortune 500 companies, they put out this product and they put out product to accommodate your interests. So, like, as a people, what we're saying to these Fortune 500 companies, these digital media platforms, is we're interested in being represented from a degenerate standpoint, because we keep on recycling these negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media places over us. And so, why the media is, evil, wicked, has an evil, wicked, diabolical agenda, at the core of it, it's a business. It's supply and demand. So they create products based on, their statistical research. And their statistical research, they're coming up with our people is degeneracy. They're creating, this explains why, we have all these crappy television shows, movies, books, and other periodicals depicting our images and our likenesses in a negative way. Because we're, demonstrating that's how we want to be represented, by just passively accepting these false narratives that these Fortune 500 companies and ad companies and media outlets push about our people and our culture. But I told you I was going somewhere with this. This is why I call my target audience my narrators, because, here's the plus side of living in the digital information age. While we can't control, what's being posted about us on different platforms, with these different platforms posts, we can control what we post online. Because, we living in this digital information age. We living in the age where we have the ability to tell or narrate our stories. And that's entirely what I'm trying to do here on the Narrator podcast, is get, our listeners to narrate our stories accurately, especially my people within my community, my narrators. So that's what I'm trying to inspire all my listeners to be, is to become a narrator and, shift the focus or change the narrative about the way, how inaccurately our people and our culture is being portrayed by the media. Because the media also, in addition to just being a faceless corporation, they're controlled by the powers that be. The powers that be are higher echelon, aka wealthy white people, and they control the media because they want to alter and warp the perception of the general public about matters ranging from politics to finance to everything else. And they want to shift the dynamic towards, placing themselves at the higher, top of the pyramid or the top of the food chain, by making everybody else appear subservient and, inferior to them. They do it to everybody, all classes, all walks of life, but they do it to our people especially, because they fear our people. Out of all the other people on this planet, they fear our people the most. And the reason why they fear us the most is because they know their history and they know our history. And they're fearful that once we realize who we are, or once we remember who we are, we'll reclaim our rightful place in society and do to them what they're currently doing and have done to us for years. But it's an ill-gotten fear, because that's not the nature of who we are as a people. The nature of who we are as a people are lovers, educators, artists, architects, philanthropists, philosophers, scientists, alchemists, you name it. We originated everything. That's another perfect segue. That's why I refer to our people as original people on this podcast. But that's primarily what I'm trying to do, is trying to get people comfortable utilizing their digital platforms the way I utilize my digital platform to provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So basically, we need to be telling our story. We need to be the heroes of our own spaces instead of, the villains, the way the media tries to vilify us. We need to be playing up, leadership, entrepreneurship, unity, family structure, finance, excellence, and not, low level intelligence, violence, degeneracy, toxicity, and debauchery. Being, I struggle with pronouncing words sometimes, but you know what I'm getting at. Debauchery. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm trying to promote here in my space, is the importance of, putting out the correct narrative about original people and original culture. So I know you heard me say that again. Like, why does he keep saying original people? So when I'm saying original people, I'm saying that in reference to my people, Black people. On my platform, I refer to our people as original people versus Black. And the reason for that is, A, it's historically accurate, because we came before every other, ethnicity, race, culture, whatever you want to classify a group of people as. We came before all that. We was originally aboriginally located, indigenously located on every single, corner of the globe. And contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't get to all these spaces by slavery, this false narrative that these people have been pushing for thousands of years. While slavery really did actually happen, the slave trade happened, slavery, especially here in America, happened. The fact is, we weren't all transplants from Africa. The majority of us was already indigenously located in all these different land masses. And not only were we just already originally there, we originated every type of educational system you can think of. We taught people. We built civilizations. We enriched lives. We civilized in cultures. We enlightened generations of people through our divine knowledge of who we are. So what we don't have a history of, spreading war. We don't have a history of, plundering, taking things that don't belong to us, taking credit for things that we didn't do, rewriting history, enslaving other people. We don't have a history of doing that, even though another false narrative is, Black people had slaves too. No, we had prisoners of war. We had indentured servants. We didn't have slaves. But I digress. And the last reason why I refer to our people as original people on my platform as often as possible, because, there are so many different types of us, hailing from so many different land masses. Referring to our people as original people, this is, a way to bind us together and unify us as a people, because there's so many different types of us, speaking so many different languages, believing in so many different things, having different political views, religious views, spiritual views, cultural upbringings, all kinds of different nuances. But the one thing we all have in common as a people, we can all trace our original lineage back to the original point of origin for all man. That's what we have in common as original people. And I try to refer to our people as original people as often as possible, and encourage everybody that listens to, refer to themselves as original as well. If you're comfortable being black, I'm not trying to convert nobody, I ain't trying to argue with nobody. If you're comfortable referring to yourself as black, then keep on going right on ahead. I'm not discouraging you. I ain't trying to crap in your cornflakes. I'm just letting you know on the Narrator podcast, I refer to our people as original people. So anytime I'm saying original, that's what I mean, black people. Next, this is a positive space. Like I try to avoid slander, gossip, dragging our people through the mud. We get enough of that from, we get attacked. Like we're the only group of people to get attacked from all sides. We legit don't have any allies, nobody lobbying for our rights, nobody wanting to see us in a better space other than us. So that's the last thing I want to do is, promote the destruction of our people by engaging in gossip and slander about another one of our brothers and sisters. I want to try to discourage against that and get us moving away from that direction, because that, we've been programmed and conditioned by the powers to be to, slander each other online and, attack each other online, and we're under the spell of that's the only way you can make money online is to pull another brother or sister down, say something negative about them, and your numbers will skyrocket, and you'll get money, fame, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like at what price? So I'm trying to get people away from that ideology of getting on their platform and saying something negative about a brother or sister. So I try not to endorse, promote, stamp, gossip, or negativism in any way on here. This is a positive space. I don't, talk about brothers and sisters. As a matter of fact, if I bring a brother or sister's name up, it's only as to illustrate a point that I'm trying to make. It's not for clout, and it's definitely not coming from a space of, criticism or scrutiny. This is all about empowerment and upliftment and edification of our people, and inspiring others to, utilize their platform in a constructive way to, raise our brothers and sisters up instead of tearing them down. I think the last misnomer about the Narrator podcast is this is a time-sensitive platform. I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast, and the purpose of me doing that is when I created this platform, I had no idea what I was going to do. I realized I was an audio platform, and so I gotta, captivate the audience and keep people interested. And you can't do that if you're boring them to sleep. And the quickest way to bore them to sleep is to not have a format and lose people. So I've developed a format. I have devised my broadcast into sections. Each section has a speaking point, and each section is timed. So I can cover a multiple array of, topics in a short amount of time, keep the listeners engaged, and keep them thoroughly enthralled into what I'm saying and the content that I'm trying to present to them, and keep them totally interactive and, engaged at the same time. So that's why I try not to exceed an hour, because I don't care how, interesting of a life you live, or how interesting of a person you are, nobody wants to sit up there and listen to somebody just talk without a point. So that's why I try to make my broadcast short, sweet, and to the point. But I accommodate all intellect levels. I don't want to shoot over nobody's head. And then I also don't want to dumb myself down, so I'm like right there in the middle pocket. I have like easily, I would say, applicable knowledge, practical knowledge. Definitely, you can get something out of my platform. You don't have to clear your entire schedule if you miss a Narrator podcast episode here and there. And, I'm just not droning on and on and on and like, dang, talking in circles and all that. So you can keep up with me and, I just keep it moving and make my content digestible and make it have some fluidity to it. So it's just not, all this dead air space and, I'm droning on and on and on talking. But I think I've covered all the misnomers about the Narrative podcast. Anything that I might have glazed over will soon, you'll soon catch on to it throughout this broadcast. So without any further ado, I'm diving in right now, starting the very last broadcast of 23 of the Narrative podcast. Going in now with my very first section. This section is called the contest section, or the promo section. And what this section is designed to do is to reach out to original people that own and operate their own business. The opportunity to reach out to me to utilize my platform to promote their business, product, service, or, whatever they got going on for themselves. So if you need something, some free promotion you think you might need or want, some free promotion for your business, product, service, event, or whatever you want promoted, reach out to me, Halsey Allen, on the Narrator podcast at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo. In the body of the email, tell me everything you want me to know about your business, product, service, event, or whatever you want promoted, and I'll gladly promote it for you on my platform for 110% free. And the reason why I would do that is to help circulate the original people dollar within the original people community by letting everybody know, a business or event exists, because we can't support it if we don't know it exists. So while we are due reparations, until we actually get them, it's up to us to, build our own and do for self. And the way you do build your own and do for self is to patronize and promote. Use the 2 P's, patronize and promote. And that's precisely what I'm doing here on the Narrator podcast. I'm promoting so that the listeners will patronize. All right. So now that you know why I'm doing it, I'm going to run it back one more time before moving on to the next section. So if you need or want some free promotion, hit me up, Halsey Allen, on the Narrator podcast at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type promo, body of the email, tell me all the specifics about whatever you want promoted, and I will gladly promote the heck out of it for you on my platform, the Narrator podcast. And again, the price is free, so you have nothing to lose, only something to gain. All right, next section is the contest section. Contest section, what this section is just a incentive for people that's been listening since day one, an incentive to draw in new listeners by getting you pulled into the plot of the Narrator podcast, which is to uplift and edify our people. This is an engagement tool to get you engaged into the content by participating in the contest topic. And the contest topic for this contest is share your most recent shopping while black story. And for that, I will give you a bulk supply of your favorite snack. And so we're interacting with each other, and then you're getting something out of it. You're getting some knowledge. we're making connections. You're telling your story, and then, you're listening to me tell our story here on my platform. So it's an exchange. The name of the contest is called the Chew on This. And I called it because, one, the prize is a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item. And then chew on this, also means, to reflect on something, chew on this. And that's why I call it the Chew on This contest. So you're getting something to eat, and you're also getting something to reflect on. So, if you want to enter the contest, I'm using the same exact email address that I just used for the for the free promotion. The way I'm separating the two is through the subject bars. So pay very close attention. So here we go for the Chew on This contest. If you want to enter the Chew on This contest here on the Narrator Podcast, hit me up, Halsey Allen, at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type Chew on This contest /or - shopping while black. If you don't want to type the entire word shopping while black, you can type SWB in all caps. And in the body of the email, make sure to include your mailing address so I know where to send your prize for entering the Chew on This contest. Your most recent shopping while black experience, because that's the topic of the contest. Chew on This contest, SWB, shopping while black. Share your most recent shopping while black experience. And then last but not least, tell me, what you want as your prize, your favorite snack food item, and I'll get you a bulk supply of it for entering this contest. And I'm going to run it back one more time before I move on to the next section. So the Chew on This contest, hit me up, Halsey Allen, at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type Chew on This /or - shopping while black. If you do not want to type the entire word shopping while black, type SWB in all caps. In the body of the email, make sure to include your mailing address so I know where to send it. Your most recent shopping while black experience, because that is the contest topic, shopping while black. And then what you want as a prize, what type of snack food item you want as your prize for entering my contest, Chew on This contest, and I will send it to you. So got that? Good. All right. So diving into the first section of the Narrative Podcast. This is a special edition of the Narrative Podcast. Now, normally for a full broadcast day, my next section after the contest section is the highlight section. In the highlight section, what I do is I highlight businesses owned and operated by original men and women. And the reason why I do that is to, stay true to my mission statement for my podcast, which is to provide positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. In the highlight section, the positive frame of reference that I'm providing for our people is entrepreneurship. And the reason why I provide the positive frame about entrepreneurship is because we have very few positive frames of reference about entrepreneurship within our community. As a matter of fact, we usually see stories of entrepreneurship come to us in the form of scripted reality television show. And on those scripted reality television shows, the producers will again, warp the narrative and try to, make our people look and sound ignorant. And so What I do is I bypass that. I'm walking you through an entrepreneur's journey and, putting out the positive frame of reference about entrepreneurship. However, I'm not doing that this week because I got a little surprise for you guys later on in the segment. So I rearranged my normal platform. You can go to my previously recorded episodes to see how I normally do it. All the parameters, all the qualifying factors that I use to spotlight in a pre-existing business. So I'm not even going to break down how I usually do that for time's sake. Because like I said, I try not to exceed an hour. I got something that's going to take kind of long today. So, I'm not even going to go into that explanation about why I do that. But, in its place, in the normal place of the highlight section, I'm rearranging things this week. I'm going to do the spotlight section. And the spotlight section here on the Narrator podcast is a section dedicated to celebrating the accomplishments of a brother or sister within our community, usually in the entertainment industry, actors, actresses, public figures, comedians, athletes, public speakers, YouTubers, TikTokers, religious figures. Well, religious figures aren't celebrities, but religious figures have celebrity status. So basically anybody that has a polarizing public platform that, utilizes it to represent our people visually in a good light or, speak on our issues, do philanthropy, giving back, some type of outreach, either, starting programs that will help us, empower us, impact us in a positive way, or, things that they've done, such as giving back for, different, charities, organizations, using their platforms to advocate for our rights, doing some type of activism or advocacy. That's the people that I usually spotlight in the spotlight section here on the Narrator podcast. But lately I've just been doing regular people because I'm trying to get away from the stereotype of, us not knowing how to do anything other than be entertainers. So I've just been, as of lately, for the last, I would say, month or so, just spotlighting regular people. But that's essentially what I'm doing in the spotlight section is just, section is the section, where I'm saying all superheroes don't wear capes. Just people doing something extraordinary for our people, for the cause, for the movement, for the betterment and upliftment and the edification of our people. And those are the people that I usually honor with the spotlight here on the Narrator podcast. Not only that, the spotlight section is designed to inspire people to, utilize their platforms in a positive way, to say something nice about your brother and sister, and instead of denigrating them, dragging them through the mud, airing out dirty laundry, just being mean and nasty online. Because, unfortunately, we're the only people that do that. We've been brainwashed and conditioned to, go at each other's throats online. The destruction of our people has been incentivized. Like there's a big bag in it for us to get on your platform to say something negative about a brother or sister. And we're the only people that's falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Like you ain't never seen two Italian people go back and forth on, a social media platform. You never seen two Asian people going back and forth in the comments on a social media platform, on Twitter, in a Facebook group or on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, you know what I mean? or live stream or Twitch, whatever the platform is, you've never seen nothing negative coming from any other communities talking about each other or trying to like tear each other down. Only we do that. So that's what I was trying to do, or what I have successfully done with the Spotlight section here on the Narrative Podcast, because before I started the Spotlight section on my podcast, nobody on social media, on YouTube, on TikTok, on whatever medium you want to call, nobody was spotlighting anybody. But after I had the Spotlight section to my platform, the Narrative Podcast, now everybody's spotlighting. Everybody got a Spotlight section. Today, like when they have a guest, today the spotlight will be on so-and-so and such, or we'll be spotlighting. Nobody was doing that before I did. So obviously, you know, I'm impacting and changing the dynamic as I intended to do. So even though nobody's openly showing their support for my platform, everybody's following suit, you know, proving that they listen to my platform, you know, incorporating all my nuances in their shows, saying stuff I say, and definitely having the Spotlight section. So I guess I got to make some noise for myself for starting the wave for spotlighting.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In the real way. All right. So without any further ado, now that you know what the Spotlight section is about, today, for the last broadcast of 23 here on the Narrative Podcast, I will be spotlighting a sister by the name of Jamila Tremel. Jamila is a native of the south side of Chicago, Illinois. She began her leadership track at one of the top hospitals in the country. She started at Northwestern Medicine in Illinois. She has over 10 years of experience in strategic planning and community engagement. So she's always excelled in planning and organizing things. So Jamel is the founder. Her biggest accomplishment, she wears a lot of hats, but her biggest accomplishment is being the founder of a nonprofit organization for young ladies in that area of Illinois called the Ladies of Virtue, and the Ladies of Virtue is a nonprofit organization with the initiative of helping young original women in Chicago, Illinois, with basically becoming young ladies. She's teaching them the finer points of femininity, teaching them etiquette, proper etiquette, you know, telephone etiquette, going out to eat, you know, manners and such, you know, properly giving people their proper titles, basically teaching young ladies poise, dignity, and grace. Not only that, she's teaching them, you know, changing their trajectory in life by teaching them life skills that will get them better jobs, secure their educational future, like get them into the fast track of going to college, giving them the tools, if they don't want to do that, to start their own business and become entrepreneurs. So that's just one of the things she does. And if you want to know more about, you know, the Ladies of Virtue, go to www.lovechicago.org and you can read all the programs that they have available for the young ladies of that area, all the programs and things they do. She also is involved with the Greater Bronzeville Neighborhood Workforce Development. This is a mouthful. The Bronzeville Neighborhood Workforce Development Community in Illinois for the Council of Women and Girls. So this is a graduated plan of what she does for young ladies between the age 12 to 18. This is for, grown women between the ages of, 18 to I think 30. And basically teaching them how to secure a job, helps them with job interviews, transportation, resources, how digital literacy, how to use the internet for a job, the resumes, how to put together a resume, conduct themselves in the interview, or on the entrepreneur side, cold calling, how to launch, a business and such. So she's involved with that. She's also an author, a co-author actually, on a book called The Sisters Report on Teen Girls in Chicago. She also does TED Talks. She's done a few. One made at Rush University called Make Your Day. Make Your Day. One's called Make Your Day. Excuse me, I just wrote them weird. That's why I was taking a little long. I got lost in my notes. One TED Talk is titled Make Your Day. And the other TED Talk is called May Today Be Your Day. But like I said, she wears many hats, involved in a whole lot of things, responsible for impacting the lives of, young ladies, which is very refreshing that somebody's teaching them something, a skill that will actually impact them and influence them in a positive way, not, getting online, twerking and flashing their nudity untastefully. But she's teaching them how to really just be a woman. That's all her platform is dedicated to. And, the woman is the portal into this universe. So definitely we have to make sure that somebody's keeping the tradition of impacting young women so they can become grown women. Because that's kind of, the disconnect with the genders these days, especially within our community. There's a lot of young ladies ain't growing up to become young ladies. They coming up to be, I don't even want to say the word, but, the T word, the H word. Or actually, would it be the W word? Because, we just say the H word, but it's actually spelled with the W. But anyway, rambling. So join me into giving our sister and spotlight recipient here on the Narrative Podcast a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause to our sister, Jamila Tremel, and all she does for our community. Check one, check two. All right, I don't know what happened, but we'll try it again. I don't know what happened to my headphones, but we're going to give her another round of applause. Something happened. I didn't hear it, so we're going to hear it again. All right, next section here on the Narrator Podcast. This section is called the Health and Wellness section. In this section, it is self-explanatory. It is designed to do just that. I'm giving tips about health and wellness. And the reason I feel I need to speak about health and wellness here on the Narrator Podcast is because the health and wellness of our people has greatly been impacted by the powers that be. They're putting things in our food, in our air, in our water, and, on the mental side of it, I already told you what they're doing with the media, with this information, the way they're manipulating our minds, warping the narrative. Basically, in short, what I'm saying is our people, original people, we're being attacked on all fronts, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And so the purpose of the health and wellness section here on the Narrator Podcast is to arm my people with tips that will, fortify them in all the areas that they're being attacked. I took that long pause because I lost my train of thought. Because I'm doing things different this week. Because, like I said, this is a special edition of the Narrator Podcast, and I'm kind of going out of sequence. This section usually comes much later in the broadcast, but I'm doing something different this week. So, that's why I'm a little discombobulated. But that's essentially what the health and wellness section is about here on the Narrator Podcast. And a quick disclaimer to all listeners, this podcast is dedicated, really focuses heavily on original people. Like, that is my target audience. That's my niche. That's my demographic, is original people. I don't have a problem with nobody. I don't have a problem with anybody from any background, class of people, whatever you identify as. I don't have an issue with you. But just know that all the information here on the Narrator Podcast is geared towards original people. But if you want to listen to it to become enlightened, to, broaden your horizons and want to know why we are the way we are, definitely listen to that, educate yourself so you can be a part of the conversation and, be proactive and progressive as a person. But essentially, all the content on the Narrator Podcast is geared towards original people, especially in this section, the health and wellness section on the Narrator Podcast, because, there's another false narrative in religion, especially in the religion of Christianity, saying, we're all God's children, we're all created equal in the eyes of God. And the fact is, we're not. We're not, the same. We all got different dietetic needs, cultural things. Culturally, we can eat every single day that will it cause irreparable harm to another person from a different culture that will try to eat the same things we eat every day. We just have differences. There are different on the mental side, emotional triggers, things that trigger us emotionally. The way our minds perceive things, it's different. And it's bullcrap that with this religion that, we're all the same, and no, we're not all the same. So, yeah. But we especially differ in all those areas, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I'm going to be discussing the mental, physical, and spiritual things that speak directly to my people, original people. So some quick examples before diving into the content. here on the Narrator podcast for the what I'll be discussing as a people. So like examples of something that happens physically is, how to armor up physically would be some type of, usually the health benefits of a vegetable, fruit, plant, herb, extract, or elixir you can ingest or apply topically to improve your overall health and wellness, or a physical exercise that you can perform to stay in peak physical condition. On the mental side of it, are being aware, of our thought process, the things, our mental triggers for original people, how to control our thought processes, understanding our emotions, how our brain works, how we perceive things culturally. So I'll be teaching our people meditations for melanated people, mindfulness, things to encourage mental well-being for original people. Then on the spiritual side of it, our spiritual practices and beliefs, just things we can guard, to keep our spirit intact, because we know we're under a spiritual attack as well. There's a whole lot of dark forces being harnessed and let loose on our people. So, I give tips on how to recognize spiritual attacks, how to armor, protect yourself against it, such as prayer and other, spiritual practices you can do, invoke to, keep yourself spiritually healthy. And then some, every once in a while, blue moon, I'll hit you with a curveball. I'll talk about, divine law, quantum law, law of attraction, principles of the universe, law of cause and effect, and just stuff like esoteric stuff like that. Every once in a blue moon. But today is a physical health day, and this is a season of winter, so what better way to celebrate this season than with the health benefits of something that is in season this season and is typically associated with the holiday. You see these quite everywhere. I'm going to be talking about the health benefits of persimmons. So first of all, persimmons are packed with vitamin C. And vitamin C is good for healing wounds. I hate this word, boosting the immune system. You can't boost your immune system. You can only fortify it. It's already at peak optimal operation. It's already operating at peak optimal efficiency. All you can do is enhance it or deplete it. You can't boost it. But anyway, it fortifies your immune system. It's good for eye health, and it has anti-cancerous properties. And it also is packed with vitamin E. And vitamin E is basically really good for your skin. Also has anti-cancerous properties. Like I said, it's good for your skin. It keeps your skin nice and tight, so it kind of, slows down the aging process. Surface-wise, you'll see less wrinkles, clearer skin. So people that suffer from acne and psoriasis and all, conditions of the skin, you would definitely want to incorporate, a whole lot of vitamin E. It also helps your hair grow as well. And it's rich in vitamin B. And vitamin B is good for, it's basically like your brain functions, helping your body break down energy. Like, it's the building blocks of your essentially the building blocks of your body, like just helping you with the core functions. It helps with energy levels, metabolism. So like just all kinds of good things. Vitamin B is helps the body with. So persimmons also is good, not high in fiber, so you will feel full. So it's good for dieting. It also gives you tons of clean energy, meaning like it's sweet, but it'll give you a sugar rush without giving you a sugar crash after eating it. And then also packed with antioxidants, so to help you burn fat too. So there's all kinds of health benefits for persimmons, and it is seasonal, so it's like at peak season right now. There are some places in the U.S. where they're available all year round, like the downside, like in the South, like probably like in the Florida region, that persimmons is like, available all year round, but most places, like it's only available this time of year. But definitely, if you see some persimmons while you're out and about this holiday season in the store getting all them cookies and cakes and stuff, get you some persimmons. And that'll do it for the health and wellness section this week here on the Narrator Podcast. Now, my next section is called the speaking point section. And the speaking point section, what this section is designed for, is designed to put, whatever's going on in the world, whether it's globally or within our community, in perspective, from our perspective. Because like history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this. The media will intentionally have us looking and sounding crazy. So when I talk about, current events, that's me controlling the narrative, because the way the stories break in the media, it's just really jaded and warped, and have us looking and sounding all kinds of ignorant and dim-witted and whatever. But yeah, so that's what I'll be talking about usually in the speaking point section here on the Narrative Podcast, is just whatever's going on either globally or specifically within our community. So today I got a couple things I want to talk about. Legit, a couple things, just two things. And I'm not going to go super deep with them because my next section, spoiler alert, I got a countdown. It's my New Year's countdown of memorable moments for 23. And then also after that, we had some losses in 23, and I'm going to, acknowledge the losses we had in 23 as well. But yeah, speaking point, I just got two things I want to talk to about, and not, specific, like, I'm not going to go super deep with them. I just want to, because it's trending right now, and, just talking about it. Just need to keep the conversation going about them and unpack it from our perspective. So first up, the case of Elijah McClain. I keep on saying McLaren. The brother's name is McClain. I done said McLaren on several broadcast. I'm sorry about that. Elijah McClain. This is a young brother who got killed. If you're not familiar with the situation, he got killed in 2019 in the state of Oregon, I believe. I forget where, but essentially he went in a convenience store to get some snacks or whatever, and he had a shiesty on, and the person that was on duty had called the police and said there's a sketchy guy, and so they came out to subdue him or whatever, and they subdued him and administered a sedative and took him into custody. So another thing that made me and pretty much everybody else in the world angry about the Elijah McClain is because, one, he was 22, and another thing was Elijah McClain was autistic. He had autism. So, he's not giving the police that much resistance to the fact that they have over 3 officers hold him down while, the medical people sedated him. So, but anyway, most recently, so the two, what are those people called? Like, just a second. Paramedics. I'm sorry, I was searching for the word. Paramedics. So the 2 paramedics that gave him the lethal dose of the sedative that killed him were found guilty on Friday. So initially the jury was split in 2, of course, but they found him guilty. They charged, what are these guys' name? Charged Jeremy Cooper and Peter Sakuniak. I believe that's how you pronounce the name, Sakuniak. With assault charges. Pardon me, I'm a little parched. I usually have my water. When I'm broadcasting, my throat gets like mad dry, but I don't got it today. So that's why I keep on taking these long pauses. But yeah, there was that. The charges were split. But earlier in the week, they exonerated one of the police officers. They exonerated Nathaniel Woodyard from his charges. He would have got the same charges as the paramedics, but they tried him separately in different courts or whatever. I don't know. However it go. He was suspended with 2 years. Suspended 2 years without pay. And the thing about it, another thing that kind of ticks me off is like they only tried 1 officer. But there was like over 4 officers holding Elijah down. So why didn't all those officers stand trial as well as the paramedics? Because just taking the race card off the table, like we're civilians, right? So if you just say like, okay, say if you're, with the RICO law and all that, say if you're just like a passenger, you go out of state, you get an Uber or a Lyft or whatever. Your Uber or Lyft driver kills somebody, robs a store, kills somebody, whatever, smoking gun, you're in the car. The way the law works, you can get a charge too, just because you're there. Because you're there. Like, you know how many people within our community is sitting up in jail right now because they didn't know what the person that was operating the vehicle was going to do? They literally just went for a ride. And they're sitting up in jail right now because they got the same time as a person that they was with. Why isn't that the same for law enforcement, people that are supposed to uphold, protect, and serve? Because why didn't Derek Chauvin? Like, why there was like legit 10 officers on the scene watching Derek Chauvin behave in police misconduct, but they didn't get charged. That's crazy. But as civilians here in America, if we're privy to, if we're watching it, if we're just along for the ride, or if we're in the vicinity of someone that's committing a crime and we're there, like we're either in the vehicle or like in their house, we go to jail too. But police that's responsible for protecting and serving our rights, if they're there and they're witnessing another one of their police officer comrades engaging in police misconduct, they don't get charged too? That's crazy. All right, next topic that's trending everywhere. It's about our sister, Taraji P. Henson. Most recently, she had an interview where she gave her tearful accounts of, what she's going through in the industry and how unfair the industry is for original women. The pay grade, from the top to the bottom. She's really highly considering quitting acting. And the one thing you should notice about me is, like, I obviously just don't hop on every single topic right away. I kind of let it play out. Because, like, right when the story cracked, there were like 1 billion bloggers and vloggers. Everybody got their little 2 cents in. But me, I like to keep quiet and just see, get all dynamics of the story and see how the story unveils before I offer my critique. And first and foremost, Taraji P. Henson is a dynamic actress. She's like one of my favorite actresses, actually. And she's a lot of other people's favorite actresses. She got cast in the upcoming reboots of The Color Purple as Suge Avery. She's one of Oprah's favorite actresses. She does it. She is really good and masterful at the craft of acting. Every character that she portrays is believable in every single movie. But yet she's had, periods within her career where it's like she has to start at the ground floor all over again. She's gone to, films with Oscar buzz to, just singing in the background, literally. And she's tired of it. And for one, I understand her adulation, and I understand why she would be tired. So you know, I would say, yeah, I think this is the universe showing her, you know, her cup has passed as an actress. And her just stopping acting right now isn't the same thing as giving up. It's changing your trajectory. And all like really good actors have changed their trajectories. For example, like look at Ron Howard and what is this guy? Tom Hanks. They changed their trajectory. They went from acting to directing. And I think maybe it's time Taraji, you know, changes her trajectory and goes behind the scenes because she has a noble cause. Taraji is an advocate. She advocates for, you know, tons of causes. One of the biggest things she advocates for is mental health and mental health awareness. And it's ironic that the thing she's going through now with this industry is impacting something that she's advocating for. It's impacting her mental clarity. And so, like, you know, when that one show was on the air, I keep on forgetting it. I was never a fan. I'm a fan of Taraji, but I wasn't never a fan of that. I believe it was called Empire, Cookie Line on Empire. One of her biggest scenes towards the series finale, I got to put me first. I think this is the universe telling her, you know, to put yourself first, to put your own mental health and well-being first, and you know, just refresh, get your wind, and, you know, refocus, retool, and refocus your trajectory. In addition to being a great actress, Taraji P. Henson is also a brilliant lady. She graduated from college with an engineering degree. So she's tremendously intelligent. So if anybody can make the transition to, you know, directing, it would be her. Like Oprah fell back from acting and started directing. So, you know, I know Taraji can do it. Not only that, she wants to advocate. Her presence in Hollywood isn't for her. She's sad because she can't, you know, feed her team. It's all about the team. So this also might be an opportunity to build an institution that will help original people, actresses, black actors and actresses, to establish some type of guild, some type of institution where, you know, she's teaching them the, you know, everything that comes along with the craft of acting, how to get the gigs, some type of, or maybe some type of school where they're teaching them how to act, you know, and getting movie and television roles. And then also, you know, have stuff for people behind the scenes. Because, you know, that's very lucrative, high-paying jobs, too. You know, people, they're like grips, I think they call them, sets. Like, you know, people to hold the camera, people to clean up the sets and rearrange the sets. Like, we need diversity and representation for that too, because those are unionized, you know, that those are unionized trade skills, being behind the scenes in Hollywood. And Taraji definitely has the gumption to, you know, organize that, put that together. There's so many different ways she can go, but I think she does need to take a little graceful bow out right now and, you know, change her trajectory in Hollywood. You know, she has her own hair care product. She can focus on that, you know, make some, you know, a nationwide Taraji Henson spa treatments for sisters in the hood, you know, so they ain't got to go to Sin Lu or So Kim, you know what I mean, to get them spa treatments. She can do that. But She don't need to like be making herself crazy for Hollywood. And that's my only point that I want to point out on my speaking point of the day this week on the Narrator podcast. Next section. All right. So like I said, I had a special treat for this section of the Narrator podcast. This section is I'm taking a look back on 23, the most memorable, my top 20 most memorable moments of 20. It's in no specific detail. It's not a greater than, a less than. It's like not one overshadowed the other one. This is just some standout moments in 23. I will say I tried to do the more negative ones towards the end, but you know, these are some viral moments of 23, just some standout moments in 23. And at 20, King Harris, for his interaction he had with his father, T.I., and I'm not going to elaborate too deep within these. I'm really just going to read them. I'm not going to tell why. This is just like my little list for moments of 23. 19, the fall of Diddy. Like, Diddy went viral this year. We're probably going to be hearing about his exploits most of 24. At 18, the backlash that The Rock and Oprah got for Hawaii. I will kind of elaborate with that because it's interesting to me that all these influencers, these Caucasian influencers that was doing all these videos about, you know, thinking that Oprah and The Rock were scamming people. Rock, who is half brother, half Polynesian, Samoan, which technically is all brother because, like, if you know the true origin of Samoa, then you already know. Like I said, we're the original people, but anyway. So, and Oprah Winfrey, the self-made sister from down south, Rock, self-made, it comes from a legacy, but his trajectory in life was self-made. Brother and sister that use their platform to help whoever they can help. All of a sudden, they're getting all this backlash. Everybody's thinking, you know, they're trying to scam people to help with the disaster. And the big conspiracy theory moment was, well, they only want the money so they don't have to come out of pocket, you know, because like a lot of their property over in the islands got damaged. And so they want to use the dollars of the people to repair, you know, stuff that they purchased. And that is kind of a debatable point, but like ain't nobody never questioned UNICEF, March of Dimes, and all them other nonprofit organizations about tracking their finances. They just said, donate, you know, use their platform if you would like to help. Keyword, if you would like to help. If you didn't want to help, you didn't have to go and do a whole TikTok video about why you're not helping. So I just didn't get why they got the backlash. And that's why I went into detail on that one. But all the rest of them, I'm just going to read. At 17, I got Ye's most recent exploits on IG, his most recent rant. At 16, Keke Palmer dress. At 15, I got Jonathan Majors. At 14, I got Keke Palmer's mother's rant she did on IG about her baby. At 13, I got Charleston White getting attacked on stage. At 12, I got Jada Pinkett's book At 11, I have Tupac getting a street named after him in Oakland. At 10, I got Eazy-E getting a street named after him in Compton. At 8, Holly Robinson Pete, Star on Hollywood Walk of Fame. 7, Jennifer Lewis, star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. At 6, Cameron and Mace's multi-million-dollar deal for the Is What It Is podcast. I don't know the exact dollar amount, but it was very lucrative. Like, they broke a whole lot of records for that. Number 5, the matriarch, Queen Mother, Miss Marla Gibbs, got her star on the Walk of Fame this year. Number 4, T.I. groundbreaking ceremony for the Intra-West Side livable housing projects. Number 3, Elaine Brown, groundbreaking ceremony, former Black Panther Party member Elaine Brown, groundbreaking ceremony for her affordable housing program, affordable house care program in Oakland. Number 2, hip hop turned 50. And the number 1, at the number 1 spot, shouldn't be a surprise. Like, did you really see any other thing being at number 1? Number 1 spot goes to the Alabama River Boat Brawl. All right. Then finally, we're going to do some RIPs. And last section, my final thought or final word, and we out of here for this evening. At 20, R.I.P. Young Cheese. Young Cheese is Gilly the Kid's son. Unfortunately, he kind of went early. 19, DJ Casper, originator of the Cha-Cha Slide. Number 18, Big Pokey. Number 17, Mark the 45 King. 16, Magoo. 15, True God, the Dove. 14, Gangsta Boo. 13, Willis Reed. 12, Lance Riddick. 11, Ron Cephas Jones. 10, Chuck Johnson. 9, Ellen Holly. 8, Rudolph Isley. 7, Tina Turner. 6, William Dilday Jr. 5, Jim Brown. 4, Charles Avant. 3, Richard Roundtree. 2, Harry Belafonte. And number 1, Matulo Shakur. That's all. That's 20 people that we lost this year. I'm pretty sure by the time I share this back on social media, we'll lose some more. That is life. That's the circle of life. We're going to lose more before the ball drops. But, yeah, that's some people that we lost this year in 23. And now on to wrapping this thing up on my final word of the day. Now, my final thought or word of the day, I usually kind of flip back and forth between that. And my final thought and final word, it just kind of depends. My final thought is usually a phrase. My final word is an actual word. And what it is something deep, meaningful, philosophical, something that makes you ponder, something that makes you think critically, something that will resonate with you. So today's final word of the day is time. And it's most appropriate because this is the holiday and we're gearing up for the new year. And it's just, appropriate that my final word of the day here on the Narrative Podcast is time. The thing about time is time progresses and marches forward no matter what you do. You can stand still, time moves on. You can move fast, time's going to still progress. You can move slow, time's going to progress. But whatever you do with your time, you have to use your time wisely and not waste your time. Can't waste your time worrying about what other people are doing. Can't waste your time worrying about what other people are saying about you. Can't waste your time on foolishness. Another thing time is good for. Time is the ultimate measure, the ultimate test standard. You can tell everything with some time. You want to know where you're at in a friendship? Give it some time. You want to know where you're at in a relationship? Give it some time. You want to know where you're at professionally? If you're working a 9-to-5 job, give it some time. As an entrepreneur, give it some time. If you're trying to achieve your goal, you might not feel like you're progressing. You might not feel like, you're ever going to pull it off. But if you give it some time, you will see the fruits of all your hard labor. Final word of the day here on the Narrative Podcast, time. And speaking of time, I'm out of time. Thanks for listening to this, my very last broadcast of the year of 2023. I'll catch you guys probably like the second or third week of 24. But join me. Download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. Now, when I'm active online, I broadcast 2 times a week, once during the weekday, once on the weekend. So when I'm broadcasting live during the weekday, the best way to never miss a live broadcast of the Narrative Podcast is to check me out on YouTube or Twitter. So I'm Halzie Allen on YouTube, Halzie Allen on Twitter. Follow me on both of those mediums, and you won't miss a live broadcast of the Narrative Podcast. So on the YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Halzie Allen. Notification all, and you'll be notified when I'm live. Also, I've written a book titled The Black Card. The Black Card is available on poetizer.com. They have a virtual online library. Go to the virtual online library on poetizer.com and purchase my book, The Black Card. The Black Card is an all-comprehensive look of everything we encounter, everything that encompasses original people as a people, everything we go through, positive and negative. It's basically like a survival guide. It'll make a great coffee table read, a good travel book, a good just like chill out book, but definitely go check it out. It's in the virtual bookstore on poetizer.com, and the title of the book is called The Black Card, written by me, Halzie Allen. Go cop your copy of The Black Card today or get your Black Card revoked. Also support my poetry blog, Hallzies Poetry Corner, on blogger.com at www.mrhalziesblogs.com. And my tagline for that is Halsey's Poetry Corner, poetry of passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read one of my poems from Halsey's Poetry Corner, you'll find out why. The poems that I post on Halsey's Poetry Corner is just basically poetry that I write spontaneously, written completely in the moment, on the spur of the moment. I don't contemplate about the title, the subject matter, what I write about. I just, sit behind whatever I'm behind, like if I'm on my device or if I'm sitting at a desktop, and just bam, that's the poem. So if you're looking to get into poetry, if you like poetry, go hit up my poetry blog, www.mrhalziesblogs.com on blogger.com, and share it across all platforms. That's how you support me. Either share the link to Halsey's Poetry Corner or a poem featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner across all platforms. And that's it, and that's all. It's been a great year. Thanks for all the support. All my narrators, bigger, better things coming to you in the months to come. I feel I've gotten better. I know you all have gotten better. We're going to keep getting better together. There ain't no ceiling. We're going all the way to the top. Halsey Allen, the Narrator Podcast. This episode is officially a wrap. Catch me on in 24. Halsey Allen. I've been changing the narrative one episode at a time, and I'm going to continue to change the narrative one episode at a time. And I'm asking all of you to become narrators or continue to be a narrator and change the narrative one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.